many times are we gonna say Mocha Mousse in this video? Should we abbreviate it to MM? That's confusing. Mocha Mousse, Mocha Mousse, Mocha Mousse. Okay, in this the year 2025, Pantone hath proclaimed that our color of the year is none other than Mocha Mousse. Mocha Mousse. Mocha Mousse. Mocha Mousse. Mocha Mousse. Mocha Mousse. Okay. Mocha Mousse. That's what we're here to talk about today. Pantone's color of the year. Now, before we get into the nitty gritty about this particular choice for this particular year, I would like to state for the record that I am a Pantone girly, okay? I can usually get myself on board with whatever Pantone decides they want to put out there for their color of the year. I know that there's been a lot of, I don't want to say hatred necessarily, but there's been some polarizing thoughts around their choice for this year, and there were some polarizing thoughts about their choice for last year, which I think was called Peach Fuzz or something like that. But I myself, I am a Pantone girly. I love Pantone. I love every year when they do this. I am one of those people that waits for it to come out, not because I think it's going to revolutionize my life or change exactly what I'm doing, but I love giving a theme. I love picking a team to get on board with. I like having a North Star, and it's just fun. I don't know. It's just one of those fun, stupid things that means nothing in large form context, but I find to be really, really fun. So when they announced Mocha Mousse, I was on board. I was like, give me dirt, give me dust, give me mud on the bottom of my shoe, give me Mocha Mousse. I want it. Give it to me. So for anyone out there that is not a fan, just gonna state, it's not going to be a bad review for me on the choice of Mocha Mousse. We're going to get into a little bit more about their decision for Mocha Mousse, how they're looking at it, and how I myself am incorporating it into my makeup routine, particular makeup items that I feel like really channel that Mocha Mousse energy for 2025, and see how you can incorporate Mocha Mousse into your life. Mocha Moussify your life. What do I think that means? So without further ado, let's get into it. First, let's start off with how is Pantone defining Mocha Mousse? What does it mean to them? Because it's just two words and a little color swatch, but what does it really mean to them? So they are saying it is a warming brown hue imbued with richness. It nurtures us with its suggestion of delectable qualities of chocolate and coffee, answering our desire for comfort. And I think that this is really important and often overlooked when people are just subtly being like, I hate Mocha Mousse. Mocha Mousse sucks. I don't want a color of dirt for my color of the year. Did you hear what I just said? They read the room. Pantone read the room, and they were like, you know what everybody needs right now? They need a little cup of cocoa. They need a little bit of comfort. They need a safety zone in the chaos that is the world right now, and we are going to give that to them. We are going to give them that like warm cup of mocha. We are going to make them feel cozy and comfy and cuddled and hugged, and it's okay, and stop freaking out, and it's not all bad. That's what they did with Mocha Mousse. If you can't see that, then I pity you, because I saw it immediately. I was like, oh, I see what they're doing. I didn't even have to go to the webpage to read that description to know what they were doing. They were like, we need to bring some comfort to these poor, tired souls that are trudging through their lives day in and day out. And we think we can do that with a little bit of deliciousness, a little bit of luxury, and we're going to call that Mocha Mousse. So that's the starting point for them. They really wanted something that it sounded like wasn't too vibrant, too bold, something a little more mellow and soft, something very sensorial, something that feels like a comforting blanket wrapped around you, like lush, but at the same time, not pretentious. And I think that's also another really important part of their description of how they're viewing Mocha Mousse, that they want to give you something that feels cozy and fresh and inviting, but not pretentious. Not like, oh, look at her, she's wearing Mocha Mousse. It's like, no. Oh, she looks so cozy. She looks like she's in a big, bowl of chocolate mousse. Like, I love it. That's what they were going for. And I think that when you think about the time that we are living in right now, everyone could use a hug. Everyone could use a cup of cocoa, as long as they're not allergic to chocolate. Like, everyone could use a little bit of comfort in their lives. And I really appreciate their decision to go with this choice for this particular year. I think it was extremely smart and very, very finger on the pulse kind of feeling to me. That's at least how I feel about it. I love it. It's a simple, comforting, soft, warm brown. That is something that I also think as makeup lovers, every one of us has probably many, many versions of this already in our collection. It's not some hot neon pink. It's not some baby blue. It's not some emerald green. We are talking about something that is a staple of most people's makeup routines. Mocha Mousse is something that everybody already has. And how nice to be able to like go through your collection and pull out things where you're like, oh yeah, this feels kind of luxurious and mocha-y. This feels like it has a really soft, delicious texture. Yes, I can see Mocha Mousse in this. And that's kind of what I've been doing, and that's kind of how I pulled the items that I'm going to share today. I just went through my collection and looked at stuff and was like, does this give me Mocha Mousse feelings? Does this make me feel comforted and homey and soft and luxurious and a little bit of like sensorial texture in my life? Yes or no? And if it did, then it went in the box, and if it didn't, then it stayed on the shelf. And I think you can do that too, and it's kind of a fun exercise, I'm not gonna lie. And bonus points if you do it with a cup of cocoa, because that just sounds like a great afternoon to me. They do describe it as being this, they say sensorial over and over again in this description, so it's very clear that they want you to feel the color as much as see the color. Like, it's really trying to evoke that warmth and feeling of comfort. And they want it to feel harmonious with like everything else in your life. So, you know, your clothes, your neutrals, your neutral makeup colors, your, you know, neutral home colors, your, you know, wall colors. I mean, this is, you have to think about how much Pantone's color veer sort of permeates all different parts of our lives. And I'm not saying that, you know, oh, they name a color and everybody goes out and paints their walls brown. Not at all. But it's the kind of thing where all of a sudden you might start to see more of those soft, stony neutrals being pushed in terms of paint colors or coming up for inspiration on Pinterest, and you might start to see more topaz jewelry being displayed, or tortoiseshell hair combs, or, you know, brown eyeshadow, neutral eyeshadow palettes, Mocha Mousse lips, like all of these things. I mean, it really will end up permeating a lot of what you see in terms of trends and items that people are pushing, because they know that Pantone has said, you know, here you go, here's a little bucket for you to like put your items in and see what fits. And it's an easy one for, I think, a lot of people to, like I said, indulge in and incorporate into their everyday lives. They also talk about it providing a feeling of contentment. Like, I think there's one line I have to read. Redolent with the essence of cacao, chocolate, and coffee, this sophisticated brown offers an everyday escape, a well-deserved treat. This is where I want to land before we kind of get into more of the like swatchy stuff. It's a treat. That's the whole idea behind Mocha Mousse, is that it's a little luxurious treat for yourself. It's giving yourself a hug. It's taking a moment. It's taking a break. It's taking a breath. It's a treat. I think that's an even better lens to look at your makeup collection with, in terms of picking out those things that when you put them on, make you feel like you've given yourself a treat. And how lovely is that, to find little ways to treat yourself, because I'm going to be the first one to admit that right in this particular moment in time, it feels really hard to do that. Or I'm reaching for that treating feeling because I'm so distraught with a lot of other stuff going on around. So Pantone really sat down and said, the people of Pantone, I should say, really sat down and said, we want to let people know that this year's color of the year is about taking that little moment for yourself, is about quiet, muted, soft luxury. How can we give that a little bit more to people in their everyday lives? That's why I love Pantone, because it is really thoughtful. They do put a lot of effort and thought into what's going to fit within people's lives and what do people need in this moment. And I think that that's pretty cool. I mean, I'm not vying for a job over there, but like, Pantone, I think you guys are really cool, and I love everything that they did this year in terms of describing it. So if you go on the Pantone website and you go to the Pantone Color of the Year, they have a lot of really beautiful color palettes that pull in Mocha Mousse in different ways. They have some beautiful lookbooks, and they really do show the overall versatility of a shade like Mocha Mousse, how it fits in within this whole sort of like vanilla chanterelle, amber, cannoli cream, cream tan, like world, chocolate martini. Like they build this whole little world with that at the center, and it's beautiful. I mean, it's a world I want to live in. It does feel like soft, cushy, elegant, you know, sensorial wonderfulness. Like, take me there. I want to live there. The other thing that I really like that they did is they talked about going into this floral pathways area, which was kind of interesting to me because it's a way that they brought in other colors into Mocha Mousse. So for those people that are like, it's the color of dirt, here's a path forward for you to sort of like pair the color of dirt with the color of flowers, like cornflower blue, violet, rose tan, tendril, which is what they're using for this really soft muted green. And I love in particular that color palette that they put together. I think it is beautiful. I definitely want to make an eyeshadow palette inspired by that color palette that they did because I think it's really cool, and it's definitely bringing in a little bit of that spring pastel feeling, but in a very soft muted way, which is my favorite way to kind of deal with pastels into the world of Mocha Mousse. It's beautiful. I think it's really inspiring, and like I said, I definitely want to make a palette inspired by it. So the TLDR of Mocha Mousse is warm, inviting, comforting, soft, luxurious, a treat for your eyes, a treat for your face, a treat for your world. That's the kind of summarization of it. So I went through my makeup collection and I chose items that felt like treats to me, that felt like a little bit, like I said, of luxury. And I have put those items in a really unluxurious box right over here, and we're gonna go through them one by one. Let's do it. As you can imagine, I do have a lot of the items that are in that box on my face today, so as we go through, I will tell you what I am wearing. I filmed this look, so I might be able to insert some clips of me putting on said item as we go. But I'm gonna start with a particular brand, and that brand is Phytosurgence. So Phytosurgence, I've talked about them many times. They are one of my favorite indie brands. I think that they put out really beautiful, very elegant, quiet, luxurious makeup. Like they are kind of really in their branding even of itself, like channeling Mocha Mousse vibes to me. Like they are very much about making makeup that doesn't look and feel like makeup, but feels and looks like a treat for your face. So that's all I can say. Like they're nailing the Mocha Mousse brief in my opinion. So the first thing I want to show you is Hypnotic Honey. This is one of their eyeshadows in their Flash Fluorescence Cream Eyeshadow Formula. This is what I have on my eyes today, along with the Victoria Beckham Cocoa Satin Cajal Liner. That's literally all that I have on my eyes today. This shade is so sparkly and so beautiful. It has bits of gold and silver sparkle in it, and I applied it mostly with a finger and just under my eyes a little bit with a brush. You really do get such a beautiful finish with their eyeshadows. They're very sensorially satisfying. Let me just say that. And I think that most people would find them really easy to work with. They are a stiffer formula as far as like a cream shadow goes. So I think that a lot of people who struggle with cream shadows creasing on them might actually find that things like the Phytosurgence cream shadows are a lot easier for them to work with. So this is Hypnotic Honey. As you can see, it really does have a soft satin glow to it. It is also super sparkly, and when my eyes catch the light, I mean, there's no denying it's chock full of sparkle. This is a beautiful shade in a really beautiful range in general. I love when they came out with this entire garden bee themed range. Like it's absolutely stunning. But I have a few other things from Phytosurgence that I think are also really in keeping with this theme. This is a little bit more cooler and taupey and slightly off brief, but still gave me very much those like comforting, soft chenille throw vibes. This is the shade Magnetic Maple, and it's in the Cream Flash Fluorescence formula again. This is one of their, I think it was the Weathered Woods collection when they came out with this. I remember being absolutely excited about every single shade that they came out with. I think I have all 4 of them in my collection. It's kind of like a cooler, taupier, silkier version of Mocha Mousse. I'm gonna put it here next to Hypnotic Honey so you can kind of compare them together. They are both really beautiful, stand out single shades that I think very much deliver on luxury, if you know what I mean. Like they are going to make you feel good They're just gonna make you feel really good. And next up from Phytosurgence, I have two of their Skin Spark blush bombs. This is the shade Condensate. I feel like this goes really well with Magnetic Maple as far as the tone. It's a little bit minkier and a little bit cooler toned. Very, very beautiful, very kind of soft. And then this is Exothermic, which really does look literally like Mocha Mousse in the pot here. And this is a much deeper, richer, more of a bruisey reddish undertone to this, but both are stunning. I added a little tiny bit of Exothermic as part of my blush look today, but like very softly, and I layered it over a powder blush, which I'll show you soon. But I absolutely am obsessed with both of the formulas here. So these are those two shades together. Right here we have Condensate, and then here we have Exothermic. Absolutely give me delectable, delicious vibes. I really, really, really love their blush formula. And the last Phytosurgence product that I have to talk about is their lip balm. This is their Calm Conditions lip balm. It's a really beautiful, stiffer, but very long-lasting, very nourishing formula for the lips. I feel like this is one of my absolute favorite formulas for putting on before bed, which is where I keep my Clear Coast version, which is my clear one. I keep it by my bed and I put it on every night before I go to sleep, and I wake up and my lips are super happy about it. For the tinted ones, I definitely love to keep one in my purse or keep one on my desk. This is the shade Crash Cadence, I think is what, or is it Crash? Yeah, Crash Cadence, hard to say, but it is one of the newer shades that they came out with, and I believe it's their darkest shade that they've come out with. It's like the most tinted, and it's extremely Mocha Mousse coated for sure. I really, really enjoy this. I feel like it is a great formula in a great color, and knowing how popular the sort of muted 90s brown is right now and has been for quite some time, there are a lot of people who are going to see this and be like, yes, that is an immediate add to cart. I really do love their formula for the lip balms, and I think that if you're into that moody mocha brown, Crash Cadence would be a good choice. That's the end of my little Phytosurgence roundup. Let's go on to the next brand. Next up, we have Mob Beauty. I have a few things from Mob that I feel like are extremely beautiful, Mocha Mousse-ified. And in particular, I think one of their more recent releases is very much in that category. This is from the Kourtney Quarantine collab that they just came out with called the Grunge Core palette. And these two brown powder shades are very Mocha Mousse-y. A little more caramelly than like that soft, minkier brown, but on the eyes, I feel like they translate to just being like super beautiful mocha deliciousness. The more shimmery shade feels kind of like a coppery play on Mocha Mousse. And then the brown, that's just like a beautiful matte brown. Again, I think they're just both like bringing out that muted beautifulness that is kind of effortlessly grungy and very soft and luxurious and elegant, a little bit like decadent. I love the sheen and shine in the sparkly shade. I think that it is a very beautiful, very effective, like mocha brown. It's really beautiful. And the matte is like a perfect everyday brown matte shadow for me. For my skin tone, it's a total win. Both of these shades are a knockout, and they're both in this palette, but you can of course get them alone. And then the other thing that came out with this collection was a lip by Kourtney Quarantine. This is in the shade M171. This is in their matte cream lip formula, and I can't, I die. Every time I put this on, I feel so put together. I feel so beautiful. It is giving that I just had a chocolate pudding and I feel really great about life, like look to the lips. I mean, it doesn't look like I ate like smuggled chocolate bars, don't get me wrong. Like it definitely has a bit more elegance to it, but it's yummy. I mean, I know some people hate to talk about makeup through the lens of food, but this is like edibly yummy. It's so good. I cannot get over it. Look at this little grouping. I mean, if you love brown and you love nuanced brown, you are gonna absolutely die over these. The other ones I wanted to show you are part of a little everyday palette that I made of some of my favorite cream clay shadows from Mob. In particular, these two shades are some of my favorite. This one is M115 and this is M158. M158 came out with the Southern Goth palette as part of the collab with Jessica Hayes, and then 115 is one of their like earlier neutral taupey browns. Both of them are beautiful. I feel like M158, the one that came out with the Southern Goth palette, is like the eye equivalent of the lipstick that Kourtney Quarantine came out with. Like, these are just itching to be used together. It's like a perfect combo of eyes, lips, and cheeks. Like, you could use these. They're all easily very like multi-purpose products, so those work really well together. And then M115 is, again, pairs so well with like that taupey matte brown shadow that Kourtney Quarantine came out with. So here at the bottom, this is M115. Those are the two eyeshadow shades with the Kourtney Quarantine palette. That's Kourtney's lipstick. And then this is Jessica's shade that she came out with in the Southern Goth palette. So you can see all together, you have this stunning little brown color story happening that you can use all over your face to make your face feel like it's been hugged by a warm blanket. I love it. I cannot say enough good things about Mob, you know this. On my cheeks today, along with one of those Phytosurgence shades, I am wearing one of the Kaleidos Mono blushes in the shade Pearl Bliss. This is very, very light brown, soft, slightly cool tone, slightly warm tone, kind of, you know, edging into neutral territory like cheek color. I really like this on me. I think it just adds like a subtle bit of something without being overly heavy. It is a very light blush though. I think a lot of people commented when these were released about how they are definitely, the range in total is not suited to all skin tones, because a lot of the shades that they have are really going to work on very fair to light skin tones, not even medium skin tones, because you can see how light that swatch on my hand is, and I am wearing it today. It's very, very light and very soft, but I love it. For me, it's like the perfect subtle everyday kind of treat mocha mousse-y shade for myself. I really do love it. I think that I like the formula of these blushes. They're very easy to blend out. I never have a problem with them going patchy. I do find that I use these a lot. I really do like the Kaleidos Mono blushes. So for what it's worth, for me and my personal taste, I think that the shade Pearl Bliss is a great little everyday kind of brownie neutral shade. This is the Kashmiri Charmeuse palette from Viseart. I got this last year, and I think that the entire palette is an absolute perfect mocha mousse-ified treat for the eyes. I know I've said this many times before, and I've talked about this palette before, that I love the Viseart formula, so you don't need me to go in depth. I'm not going to do swatches of this palette with the exception of 2 shades, because I think that would just be overkill. You don't need me to swatch all these shades. But I'm going to swatch for you 2 of the shimmers that I think are actually extremely beautiful, mocha mousse-y, satin finish, and give a beautiful, beautiful like sheen to the eye. So these are 2 of the shimmer shades. Now, I don't know what the names are within the palette, but they are that little like smoky quartzy one at the corner is like this one, and then that dead center shade that's got a pink flip to it, it's almost like kind of duochrome-y but very light, is this one right here. I just wanted you to see how shiny these can get and how really stunning they are, because I do talk a lot about how Viseart is not for like the insane sparkle lover. I mean, you can pair them obviously with whatever you want, but a lot of their shimmers tend to be softer and more sweet and satin. But I gotta tell you, like, if you really play with these, you can make your eyes glow with that satinness. It's really beautiful, and I love this palette. To me, this is definitely like a treat for my eyes, a treat for my day. I reach for it all the time. It's one of my go-to palettes, like for everyday wear. This is going to only slightly veer off brief, but just slightly. This is the shade Lithium by Urban Decay. I know that they also just came out with a very similar shade that might actually be more mocha mousse-ified than this one. It's called Diamond Dog, and it's definitely warmer than this shade Lithium, which is cooler and has almost more of a green tinge to it. but I don't have Diamond Dog, and this is the shade that I felt like fit the brief the most. These Moondust shadows by Urban Decay, in my opinion, are worth the money and are special. I don't really have anything else quite like this texture in my collection, and every time I wear these shades, I get compliments on my, I mean, I kid you not, like I can't go out in public wearing an Urban Decay Moondust shadow without getting someone stopping me and being like, what is on your eyes? They are really sparkly. They are really shiny. They're just like, they give you that wet looking sparkle on the eyes. This one, why I say is that it's a little off brief, is that I would call it almost more gunmetal, and you can see that flip in it that gives you the shine. Really does feel tinged almost green, like it's veering off of the warm hug a little bit, but I still think that there's enough warmth and base that makes it fit for the brief with me. And if you're gonna give yourself a quote-unquote treat, I think that this shade on the eyes is definitely meeting that need. Like it's a really special shade. I remember when I first got it out and swatched it, I literally gasped. I gasped a gusp. While there's many, 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 many brands to choose from, these are uniquely sensorial and textural and sparkly. They kind of hit all the things that I look for in a single shadow. So highly recommend. I have 2 lip products from Glossier that I feel like very much fit this brief. One is a limited edition, so I had to throw in another option because I didn't want you to be like, well, I can't get that anymore. So this is the Espresso Balm Dot Com. They came out with this over the holidays, and they came out with it alongside a speculoos like cookie butter one, which I also got. Oh, it just smells so good. It just smells so good. But yeah, so the Espresso Balm Dot Com has a lot of tint to it. This is probably one of their most tinted Balm.coms that I've ever tried. I mean, it is brown. It is really brown. This will show up on your lips. If you like the Balm.com formula, I don't even know if these are still around. I'll have to check if these are still on the website because they might be. They were from holiday time, but if you can still get this, I do recommend it. It's a great formula in a great shade, in a great scent, well worth it. I mean, they obviously came out with it around holiday time to give you those like cozy holiday vibes, and it worked. Alternatively, this is one of the most underrated lipsticks in my opinion. This is the Generation G lipstick from Glossier. I know I've said this before, a lot of people don't like these. They feel like they're too waxy. I love them. I love how they look on the lips. I love the staying power that they have. I like that they give you that blotted lip without it being too moussey. I mean, I know we're talking about mousse, but like not too moussey. They are very texturally satisfying to me personally. And this in particular is the shade Malt. Malt is a stunning reddish tinged 90s brown. I think that this shade is so slept on. Like, look how beautiful that is. I love, 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 love this color. I think that Glossier made such a beautiful choice here with how it's like a little bit more reddish toned. It's not true brown. So if you like a real cool tone brown, this probably won't be for you. But if you like a slightly warmer, brickified mocha mousse, if you will, I think that the Glossier Generation G and Malt would be something you really love. Look at these two together. I mean, you could definitely pair these together. Love it. I love it. So that's Glossier. I talked a little bit about this in my last video too. This is the NYX Lip IV in the shade Espresso Soak that I have been trying recently. It's like a hydrating glossy serum formula. It definitely leaves a stain on your lips, which is really nice. So even when the initial creaminess and shine wears off, you are left with a stunning remainder on your lips. I think that the texture is what made me fall in love with it. I mean, yes, the brown shade is absolutely beautiful, as you can see, but the texture is what sold me on it. It is so pillowy and jelly and stunning. I absolutely am in love with this formula. I am tempted to get more shades, but I'm trying really hard not to bring in a ton of makeup into my collection right now and not to reach for that like shopping coping mechanism. When I'm back open to doing more purchasing, I think I would definitely look at more shades of this, because while I love the Espresso color, which fits perfectly within our video today. I want this formula on my lips like as often as possible, and I want to see what other shades they have. So this again is Espresso Soak. It is definitely a treat for the lips. You will love how it makes your lips feel. I truly did. I have no complaints about it. Also, I just want you to see, I did just wipe that off on my hand and look at the stain that it left. You can imagine if you were to layer this and then leave it on for longer, you'd get a little bit even more of a stain, but like it definitely stains. Okay, so the next is another lip product. This is from Saie Beauty. This is their lip blur in the shade Nouveau. It is another kind of slightly rosy red. I feel like it's similar to the Generation G shade Malt, but it is a very, very different formula. This is a lot more velvety, a lot more fudgy. It's very easy to build up into a really intense full lip, but you can also kind of pat it on and pat it out and make it very soft and even more wearable. You can pair it with whatever you want. I mean, obviously it's lipstick. You can do whatever the hell you want with it, but I do want to say that I think it fits into that very like cocoa, slightly reddish cocoa kind of family, and it's a beautiful color. It's very, very soft on the lips. I do find these long term a little bit drying, so what I do like to do generally is pair them with something else just to make sure that my lips feel really hydrated and moisturized. So I will put on like a lip balm underneath and then put these on, and then I really love how they wear. And the last two things I am going to talk about together, but they're two different brands. So this is the one liner by Tower 28 in the shade Draw Me, and then this is the Rhode peptide lip tint in the shade Espresso. So that is the lip combo that I have on today, although I'm sure as I've been talking it's been moving around my lips. Have to say, this lip combo is probably one of my favorite brown lip combos that I've ever done because it looks good, it feels good, and it's just a treat. It's just a treat. What I like about the liners by Tower 28 is that they're extremely pigmented and super smooth and not drying, and they feel great to apply, and they're just so lovely on the lips. And then the Rhode peptide lip tint in Espresso, like all the peptide lip tints that are tinted, I guess they do have different names. The ones that are for the ones that are not tinted aren't called tints, but I don't know. Don't listen to me. The peptide lip tint, it's a very sheer light wash of color that obviously as you wear it will sort of disperse, and it's not going to give you a heavy stain or a heavy look, but when you do blend it with something like a really dark lip liner like the Draw Me liner, they give you a really, really beautiful brown lip that's extremely wearable and like great for everyday, great for an everyday treat. Like how shiny these lip tints are. I like how glossy they are. I do like the applicator too. I like the little tube that it comes in. Like I feel like they're really easy and fun to use. So together, this is like one of my ideal favorite Mocha Mousse lip combinations. Yes, I know Rhode did just come out with their own lip pencils, their lip contours, whatever they're called, the lip shapes. I did get one. I limited myself to one. I got it, the lip shape in Lunge, but it is not what I would call a Mocha Mousse color, so I'm not including it in this roundup. I'll talk about this at another point, but yes, you could probably pair this with one of theirs and keep it in the family if you love Rhode, but I love both these brands, and so I thought it'd be really fun to pair them together, and as you can see, gives you a really beautiful lip. Okay, all right, so that is everything that I have in my box. That is how I am Mocha Moussifying my life. I'm reaching for these products to give me a little bit of a treat, a little bit of comfort in the chaos of the world that we live in right now. And I really do encourage you to look through your collection with the same kind of lens and pick out things that feel treaty to you, that just give you that sensorial hug that you might be missing. I'm not saying that you need a hug from your makeup or that makeup is going to solve your problems or that, you know, it's the only thing that you need to cope in any way, shape, or form. But it is nice to find those products that do kind of feel like a little bit of a hug for yourself. Like, I'm just saying, I don't hate it. I don't hate it. And as I've stated, I don't hate Mocha Mousse. I am loving living life in the Mocha Mousse world. And I think that it's a really interesting choice for them to make this year, to really lean into that and to put a particular kind of message out into the world that I think they're doing, you know, slightly covertly. Let's admit it's a little covert, but it's kind of clear to me what they're trying to say. They're trying to say, we know that it's tough out there, and so we're trying to channel something good for you through our work that we do in the world, in the words of Hannah Louise Poston. I hope you enjoy that little Mocha Mousse roundup. I would love to hear from you what you would consider the Mocha Mousse coated products in your own collection. Definitely put them in the comments. Tell me, I want to know what they are, please. Give me more Mocha Mousse. Give me more Mocha Mousse in my life. That's all I got for you today. I do hope that you have a wonderful rest of your day, whatever you are doing, and I cannot wait to see you in the next one. Bye.